The Pumpkin Farm at Candlelight Hollow. A cozy fall sleep story by the glowing lantern. The path to the pumpkin farm wasn't marked by a sign, but by the flicker of candles tucked into hollowed gourds, each one glowing from within like a secret waiting to be kept. Beyond the candlelit trail, the sky hung low with dusk. Mist curled at the edges of the fields, and a chill in the air smelled of cinnamon, soil, and something sweeter, like baked apples cooling on a windowsill far away. People in town called it Candlelight Hollow, though no one remembered who had started that name. The farm sat quiet at the edge of the valley, with rows and rows of pumpkins in every size and shape. Some leaned on each other like old friends. Others glowed faintly, as if they'd caught the candlelight and decided to keep it. A black and white barn cat named Clover wove slowly between the stalks, her paws silent on the earth. She had lived at the farm for as long as anyone could remember and was said to nap wherever the night was softest. At the center of the farm stood a small weathered barn. The roof dipped slightly in the middle, and candles lined the windowsills like quiet sentries. Inside, a pot of mulled cider simmered on the old stove. The windows fogged gently, and shadows danced on the wooden walls. The farmer, a gentle woman named Nora, was lighting the last few candles for the evening. She never rushed. She believed that night came not all at once, but like a blanket being slowly drawn over your shoulders. As she stepped outside, lantern in hand, she whispered gently, "Time to rest," not to anyone in particular. But the farm seemed to hear her. Pause 2 seconds. One by one, the wind hushed. The leaves stopped tumbling, and the flickering pumpkins glowed just a bit brighter. That was when the traveler arrived. They came up the candlelit path with a careful step, as if not to disturb the hush that had settled over the hollow. A canvas bag hung over their shoulder, dusted with road dust and little dried leaves. Their coat, long and soft, looked like it had been worn through many Octobers. Nora smiled as she saw them approach. "Come in," she said, as if she'd been expecting them all along. Inside the barn, the warmth was immediate. The air smelled of cinnamon, pumpkins, and thyme. Clover jumped into the traveler's lap as soon as they sat down, curled into a ball, and purred like she had been waiting just for them. Nora poured 2 mugs of cider and handed one over without a word. The candlelight flickered across the wood-paneled walls, where shelves held all kinds of curious things: glass jars of dried herbs, baskets of pine cones, and bundles of dried lavender. Above the hearth, in a frame made of old wood and ivy vines, hung a single object, a flat, square book wrapped in soft brown fabric. It almost looked like a gift, or something that didn't belong to anyone in particular. The traveler tilted their head. Nora noticed. "That book is called The Hollow Paths," she said softly. "It's not a regular book. It only opens when someone is ready for it." The traveler blinked slowly. "And how do you know when that is?" Nora just smiled. "The book knows." After the last sip of cider was gone, and Clover had curled back onto the windowsill, Nora stood and took the book down from the wall. "Would you like to read it?" she asked. The traveler nodded. The book, when unwrapped, was bound in soft fabric and smelled faintly of smoke and lavender. No title on the cover, just a faded golden spiral pressed into the corner. The traveler opened it, and the story began. It told of a small path in a forest filled with fog, of candle stubs left on tree stumps, of an old letter tucked beneath a mushroom, of a crow who spoke only in dreams, of someone searching for something, but not quite sure what. The story inside the hollow paths unfolded slowly, like smoke curling from a chimney. And the traveler read it like they were remembering something instead of discovering it. They didn't notice when Nora dimmed the lanterns, or when Clover returned and curled against their leg, or when the fog outside the windows grew thick and silver. The traveler kept reading. The last page of the book was blank, except for one line. "You are exactly where you are meant to be." The traveler closed the book and leaned back into the chair, eyes heavy. Nora took the book and returned it to the frame. The fire dimmed to a soft glow. The candles burned low. Outside, the pumpkins flickered on in gentle rhythm. The mist had thickened into a soft silver veil, wrapping around the fields like a dream. Above, the sky was deep indigo, with only a few stars daring to peek through the clouds. The candlelight from the gourds danced across the dewy grass, and the crisp air carried a scent of pine and wood smoke. Occasionally, an owl called softly in the distance, its voice low and round like a lullaby. Crickets whispered in the hedgerows, and the barn creaked gently as if settling in for sleep. The night held everything still, as if the world had exhaled and decided to rest. The mist had thickened into a soft silver veil, wrapping around the fields like a dream. Above, the sky was deep indigo, with only a few stars daring to peek through the clouds. The candlelight from the gourds danced across the dewy grass, and the crisp air carried a scent of pine and wood smoke. Occasionally, an owl called softly in the distance, its voice low and round like a lullaby. Crickets whispered in the hedgerows, and the barn creaked gently as if settling in for sleep. The night held everything still, as if the world had exhaled and decided to rest. And the wind that passed through the hollow was warm. The traveler fell asleep, and the farm, quiet and lit by candlelight, tucked itself in for the night.